AI never sleeps, and honestly, this week has been absolutely mental. DeepSeek just dropped another research paper that's making AI researchers lose their minds. We've got a real-time video upscaler that you can actually run on your own computer. There's an AI that lets you walk through 3D worlds in real time like you're playing a video game. The best open-source 3D model generator just got even better. And Alibaba released an image generator that's finally giving Midjourney some real competition. I tested all of these. And by the end of this video, you're going to see exactly why this week might be the moment when AI tools went from impressive demos to genuinely useful everyday applications. Let's jump in. All right, so let's start with the big one. DeepSeek, the Chinese AI lab that's been absolutely crushing it lately, just published a new research paper. And it's not about making models bigger or throwing more compute at problems. It's about making AI fundamentally more efficient. The paper is called Manifold Constrained Hyperconnections, which I know sounds like complete technobabble. But stick with me, because what this actually means is crazy important. Here's the simple version. Right now, AI models work kind of like a single-lane highway. Information flows from one end through a bunch of layers and comes out the other end. And researchers figured out a while ago that you could add shortcuts, like off-ramps and on-ramps, to help information flow better. That worked pretty well. But recently, someone had the idea to turn that single-lane highway into a massive multi-lane superhighway. More lanes means way more information flowing at once, which should make the AI way smarter, right? Problem is, when you do that, the whole system becomes chaotic. The lanes merge and split randomly, the signal gets unstable, and the entire training process crashes. It's like trying to manage a 50-lane highway with no traffic rules. Total disaster. So, DeepSeek figured out how to add traffic rules. They created a mathematical framework that makes sure the total amount of signal stays constant, no matter how the lanes merge or split. Think of it like a traffic controller that prevents any one lane from taking over or letting the signal die out. The result? You get all the benefits of the multi-lane superhighway without the chaos. The models are way more powerful, trained way more stably, and they do it all more efficiently. And here's why this matters, more than just being a cool technical achievement. Last time DeepSeek dropped a major research paper, they followed it up a few weeks later with an actual model that used that research. And that model, DeepSeek R1, is currently dominating benchmarks and giving ChatGPT serious competition. So when they drop another paper like this, people pay attention, because there's probably a new model coming, and based on their track record, it's probably going to be really, really good. Excitement, practical value, impossible made possible. Now let's talk about something you can actually try right now. There's this new tool called StreamDiff VSSR, and it's a real-time video upscaler that you can run on a consumer GPU. I tested this extensively because, honestly, video upscaling has been a pain point forever. You either use slow, expensive cloud services, or you use fast but terrible quality algorithms on your own computer. This thing splits the difference perfectly. It's fast enough to run in real time, and the quality is legitimately impressive. I threw a bunch of test cases at it. First, I gave it a really blurry video of a street scene. Lots of detail, lots of movement. The kind of thing that usually causes artifacts and weird blurring. After running it through StreamDiff VSSR, the result was shockingly clean. Details were sharp, edges were clear, and nothing looked overly processed or artificial. Then I tested it on a video with a ton of people and objects, the kind of chaotic scene that breaks most upscalers. Again, the results were really solid. Individual faces stayed distinct, clothing textures came through, and background details that were completely lost in the original became visible. But here's the part that really impressed me: the speed. On a single RTX 4090, which admittedly is a high-end card but not crazy expensive by professional standards, it processed video frames in about 0.3 seconds each. Compare that to traditional diffusion-based upscaling, which takes over 4,000 seconds for the same video. That's the difference between real-time and come back tomorrow. And they've already released the code, so if you've got the hardware, you can download this right now and start upscaling your own footage. No subscription, no cloud processing, no sending your videos to someone else's servers. For anyone working with video, especially older footage or lower quality sources, this is a game changer. Before we continue, let me tell you about today's sponsor, NordVPN. As you start using more of these AI tools, you're uploading data constantly. Videos, images, text, code. And a lot of these tools are cloud-based, which means that data is traveling over the internet to someone else's servers. If you're on an unsecured connection, that data can be intercepted. Your ISP can see what you're doing, advertisers can track your activity. And if you're working with client data or sensitive information, that's a serious problem. That's where NordVPN comes in. It encrypts your entire internet connection and routes it through secure servers, making it nearly impossible for anyone to see what you're doing online. When you're uploading videos to Upscale or sending prompts to AI image generators, that data stays private. But here's another reason to use a VPN that most people overlook. A lot of these cutting-edge AI tools are region-locked. Some of the models I'm showing you in this video aren't available in every country. With NordVPN, you can connect to servers in different regions and access tools that might be blocked where you are. Right now, if you click the link in the description, you get NordVPN for 58% off. That's only $5 a month. That's cheaper than any AI subscription out there. And honestly, protecting your data should be the first thing you do before diving into all these new tools. I've been using NordVPN for over a year now, and it just runs silently in the background, protecting everything I do. Whether I'm testing AI tools, working with clients, or just browsing, I know my data is secure. So check out that link. 58% off, $5 a month. Best decision you'll make today. All right, back to the AI madness. So here's something that genuinely feels like the future. There's this AI system called Oasis 1.5, and it lets you create explorable 3D worlds from just a text prompt or a single image. And you can walk through these worlds in real time, using your keyboard like you're playing a video game. I tested this with a bunch of different scenarios. I started with a simple prompt: Cyberpunk city street at night with neon signs. Within seconds, it generated a world I could actually walk through. I could move forward, backward, turn around, and the environment stayed consistent. Buildings in the distance stayed in the same place. The lighting remained coherent. It genuinely felt like exploring a 3D space. Then I tried something trickier: forest path with a river running alongside. Again, it generated the environment, and I could walk along the path, look at the river, turn around, and see where I'd been. The level of consistency was really impressive. But here's what makes this especially cool. You can inject events and characters into these worlds with text prompts. So I'm walking through my cyberpunk city, and I type, "Add a woman," walking across the street. And she appears, animated, walking naturally, integrated into the scene. Or, I'm in the forest, and I type, "Add a deer standing by the river." And there it is, placed naturally in the environment, not just pasted on top. This technology is powered by something called a masked video diffusion transformer. Basically, it generates the world frame by frame as you move through it, but it keeps a consistent 3D memory of what the space looks like. So when you turn around, it doesn't generate a completely different scene. It shows you the same space from a different angle. The implications here are huge. Virtual reality environments generated on the fly, game worlds created from descriptions, architectural walkthroughs before anything is built, training simulations for literally any scenario you can describe. And the best part? They've already released the code. There's even a one-click installer for Windows, which is a miracle because usually open-source AI tools require about 17 steps and 3 different software environments to get working. They've tested it successfully on a laptop GPU with 16 gigabytes of VRAM, so you don't need a crazy expensive setup to try this. 3D model generator, quality comparison, practical use. Now let's talk about 3D model generation, because there's a new leader in town. It's called UltraShape 1.0, and the quality of models it produces is kind of ridiculous. I tested it with a bunch of different inputs. First, a fairly detailed character illustration, the kind of thing that has complex geometry, fine details, varied surfaces. UltraShape generated a 3D model that captured the hair, the facial features, the clothing folds, everything you'd expect from a manual 3D modeling process. Then I tried it with something trickier, an image of a dragon. Dragons are notoriously hard to model because of all the scales, the wings, the complex shapes. UltraShape handled it beautifully. The level of detail was impressive, and the model was fully rotatable with consistent geometry from every angle. Compared to other open-source 3D generators like Trellis 2, which I covered a few weeks ago and which was already really good, UltraShape is noticeably better. The geometry is cleaner, the details are sharper, and it handles complex subjects more reliably. Now, there is one limitation worth mentioning. UltraShape only generates the 3D shape. It doesn't generate the texture or color of the model. So you get a perfect geometric representation, but it's monochrome. Other tools like Trellis can generate the full textured model. But honestly, for a lot of use cases, having the perfect geometry is more important. You can always add textures manually, but fixing bad geometry is way harder. And as usual, they've released the code. It's all on GitHub, with instructions for how to download, run, and even train the model yourself if you want to customize it. Alright, so Alibaba just dropped the latest version of their image generator, Qwen Image 2512. And this is a big deal, because for the first time, we have an open-source image generator that can genuinely compete with commercial tools like Midjourney and DALL-E. I ran a bunch of tests comparing Qwen Image 2512 against the previous version and against other top models, and the improvement is really noticeable. First test. Generate a realistic photo of a young woman taking a selfie in a cafe, casual amateur photo style. Previous versions of Qwen would give you something that looked obviously AI generated. Too smooth, too perfect, that uncanny valley feeling. The new version looks like an actual photo. Natural lighting, realistic skin texture, the kind of imperfections that make it feel real. I compared it against Juhu Image Turbo, which is currently one of the top open-source image generators. Qwen Image 2512 had better detail and definition, more natural colors, and better prompt following. Then I tested text rendering, which is notoriously hard for AI image generators. I gave it a long, complicated text prompt to render in the image. Multiple sentences, over 50 words. Qwen Image 2512 got all the text correct with 0 errors. Juhu Image Turbo made multiple spelling mistakes. The old version of Qwen also made errors. Only the new version nailed it perfectly. I also tested it on UI design. Generate a mobile app interface with specific elements and text. All three models did reasonably well, but Qwen Image 2512 had the cleanest layout and got all the text correct. Then I tried something really tricky. Generate a man looking in a mirror, but his reflection is a glitchy mess of pixels, while everything else is clear and sharp. This is the kind of abstract, conceptually complex prompt that breaks most models. Qwen Image 2512 understood exactly what I wanted and executed it perfectly. The other models completely missed the concept. Now, I will say that Qwen Image 2512 seems optimized for realistic photos rather than artistic or abstract styles. When I asked for an artistic illustration of a deer in a forest made of dots, Juhu Image Turbo did better. So depending on your use case, you might want different tools. But for realistic images, accurate text rendering, and complex conceptual prompts, Qwen Image 2512 is now the best open-source option available. And they've released it with full model weights and a comfy UI workflow, so it's easy to use. There are already quantized versions available that can run on 8 GB of VRAM, so you don't need a crazy expensive GPU to use this. Now, there's another tool I want to highlight because it solves a problem that's been annoying me with AI image editors. It's called SpotEdit. Most AI image editors, even the really good ones like Nano Banana or Qwen Image Edit, regenerate the entire image when you make an edit. So if you want to change one small thing, the whole image gets processed, and sometimes you get subtle inconsistencies in areas you didn't even want to change. SpotEdit takes a different approach. You select the specific area you want to edit, and it only changes that area. Everything else stays pixel-perfect identical to the original. I tested this with a bunch of scenarios. First, a photo of a dog with a soccer ball. I asked it to change the soccer ball to a sunflower. It edited only that area. The dog, the background, everything else stayed exactly the same. Not mostly the same or pretty close. Identical. Then I tried adding an object to an image. A landscape photo, add a person walking. Again, it only edited the area where the person was added. The mountains, the sky, the trees, all completely unchanged. This is huge for professional work where consistency matters. You're not gambling on whether the AI will subtly change colors or lighting in areas you didn't want edited. And it works with both Flux Context and Qwen Image Edit as the underlying models, so you get the benefits of those powerful systems with the precision of localized editing. They've released the code, and it can run on as little as 8 GB of VRAM, so it's accessible to most people with a decent GPU. Another tool worth talking about is StoryMem from ByteDance. This is a video generator that maintains consistency across long videos by keeping a 3D memory of the scene. Most AI video generators struggle with anything longer than a few seconds because they don't have a coherent understanding of the space. Characters change appearance, objects appear and disappear, the style drifts. It's fine for short clips, but breaks down quickly. StoryMem solves this by building a 3D representation of the scene and referencing it as the video plays. So if you pan away from a character and then pan back, they look the same. If you move around a room, the objects stay in consistent positions. I generated a multi-scene video with different locations and characters. The AI kept track of everyone's appearance, maintained visual consistency across cuts, and made sure the story flowed logically. Each scene was about 30 seconds long, and watching them back to back, it felt like one cohesive video, not 5 disconnected clips. For anyone trying to create narrative content with AI, this is a massive step forward. You can finally generate longer-form videos without them falling apart halfway through. So let's step back and look at the big picture. Because this week isn't just about individual tools, it's about a pattern. We're seeing AI tools that are faster, more efficient, more accurate, and more accessible than ever before. Real-time upscaling on consumer hardware, 3D world generation that runs on laptops, image generators that compete with commercial tools, editors that give you pixel-perfect control. And almost all of them. These are open source, which means you can download them, run them locally, and use them without subscriptions or cloud services. This is the inflection point, where AI stops being something you access through a website and starts being something integrated into your actual workflow. Running on your machine, under your control, part of your creative process. And the pace is accelerating. DeepSeek's new research paper suggests even more efficient models are coming. Each new release raises the bar for what's possible. And as more tools become open source, the community iterates and improves them faster than any single company could. So here's what you should take away from all this. First, if you're still relying entirely on cloud-based AI services, start experimenting with local alternatives. Not because cloud services are bad, but because having options gives you flexibility, privacy, and often better performance for specific tasks. Second, the tools are good enough now that you should be integrating them into real projects, not just testing them for fun, but actually using them to solve problems, speed up work, and create things you couldn't create before. Third, stay informed. This stuff is moving so fast that what seems cutting edge today will be standard in 6 months. Following the developments helps you spot opportunities and stay competitive. And finally, if you're working with any of these tools, protect your data. Use a VPN, especially when uploading to cloud services. That NordVPN link in the description, 58% off, $5 a month, it's one of the smartest investments you can make. Look, I know this video was packed with information. 9 different tools, technical papers, test, results, comparisons. But here's the simple version. AI tools just crossed the threshold from impressive demos to genuinely useful applications you can run on your own hardware. The quality is there. The speed is there. The accessibility is there. And if you're not paying attention, you're going to miss the moment when all of this becomes standard. When having an AI upscaler on your computer is as normal as having Photoshop. When generating 3D models from images is just part of the design process. When creating and editing images with AI is the default, not the exception. That moment is happening right now, this week. And the tools I showed you are proof of that. So drop a comment and let me know which of these tools you're most excited to try. Are you going to upscale your old video footage? Generate some 3D models? Create images with Qwen? Explore virtual worlds with Oasis? And if you want to stay on top of all this AI news, hit that subscribe button. I'm breaking down the latest developments every week, testing the tools myself, and cutting through the hype to show you what actually works. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.